Many people approach religion and spirituality assuming that faith means belief without question. In many traditions, doubt is treated as a weakness, and obedience is praised as a virtue. Buddhism stands in sharp contrast to this approach. From its very beginning, it rejected blind faith and replaced it with something far more demanding and far more transformative: direct understanding. This is not a modern reinterpretation or a softened version of the teaching. It is central to what the Buddha actually taught. The Buddha lived in a world filled with spiritual authorities, rituals, and competing philosophies. Teachers claimed access to ultimate truth, priests demanded loyalty, and traditions were followed simply because they were old. The Buddha did not accept this structure. He did not present himself as a savior who needed to be believed. Instead, he described himself as someone who had awakened and was pointing out a path others could walk for themselves. This distinction is crucial. The Buddha did not ask for followers, he encouraged practitioners. One of the clearest expressions of this attitude is found in the way the Buddha addressed doubt. Rather than condemning it, he treated doubt as a natural and even healthy part of the path. Blind belief, in his view, was dangerous because it replaced understanding with comfort. It allowed people to cling to ideas without examining whether those ideas actually reduced suffering. For the Buddha, the value of any teaching was not in who said it, but in what it did to the mind and behavior of the person who practiced it. The Buddha famously advised people not to accept teachings simply because they were spoken by respected authorities, written in sacred texts, or believed by many. He encouraged people to examine teachings carefully and test them in their own experience. If a teaching led to more greed, more hatred, and more confusion, it should be abandoned. If it led to clarity, compassion, and freedom from suffering, it was worth cultivating. This approach places responsibility directly on the individual. There is no hiding behind belief. You cannot outsource understanding. This rejection of blind faith is deeply connected to the Buddha's understanding of the human mind. He saw that belief without understanding easily becomes attachment. People cling to views, identities, and doctrines because they provide a sense of certainty and security. But this clinging creates conflict, both internally and externally. People argue, judge, and even harm one another over beliefs they have never examined. The Buddha saw that suffering does not only come from desire for pleasure, but also from attachment to ideas. Because of this, Buddhism does not begin with belief in metaphysical claims. It begins with observation. Suffering exists. Stress exists. Dissatisfaction exists. These are not doctrines to believe in, they are experiences to recognize. From there, the Buddha invited people to investigate the causes of suffering within their own minds. This investigation requires honesty, patience, and courage. It cannot be done through belief alone. Another reason Buddhism rejects blind faith is that liberation, in the Buddha's teaching, comes from wisdom, not belief. Wisdom is not information or ideology. It is a deep, experiential understanding of how things actually are. No one can give this to you. No one can believe on your behalf. Just as believing in fire does not burn away cold, believing in the path does not free the mind. Practice does. The Buddha used many metaphors to make this point. One of the most striking compares his teaching to a raft used to cross a river. The raft is necessary to cross, but once you reach the other shore, you do not carry it on your back. Blind faith turns the raft into a burden. People cling to teachings long after they have served their purpose, mistaking the method for the goal. The Buddha's rejection of blind faith protects against this confusion. This attitude also explains why Buddhism does not revolve around commandments issued by a divine authority. Ethical guidelines in Buddhism are not rules imposed from above. They are training principles, voluntarily undertaken and examined through experience. A practitioner observes how actions motivated by greed, hatred, and delusion lead to suffering, while actions rooted in generosity, kindness, and clarity lead to peace. Ethics arise naturally from understanding cause and effect, not from fear of punishment or desire for reward. Blind faith often depends on fear. Fear of being wrong. Fear of punishment. Fear of exclusion. Buddhism deliberately removes this structure. The Buddha did not threaten disbelief with eternal consequences. Instead, he pointed out immediate, observable results. When the mind is consumed by craving or anger, suffering follows. When the mind is clear and compassionate, peace follows. This is not something to believe in, it is something to notice. Meditation plays a central role in this rejection of blind faith. Meditation is not a ritual performed to please a higher power. It is an investigation of the mind. Through mindfulness and concentration, practitioners directly observe thoughts, emotions, and sensations arising and passing away. This observation gradually weakens ignorance and attachment. Insight replaces belief. The practitioner does not accept impermanence, non-self, or unsatisfactoriness as ideas. They see them directly. This emphasis on experience also explains why Buddhism has adapted so well across cultures and centuries. Because it does not demand rigid belief in fixed dogmas, it allows for interpretation, dialogue, and refinement. The core question is always the same: does this reduce suffering? If a practice or interpretation does not serve that purpose, it is open to re-evaluation. Blind faith would freeze the teaching in time. Some people misunderstand this rejection of blind faith and assume Buddhism is purely intellectual or skeptical in a cold, analytical sense. This is not the case. The Buddha did not replace blind faith with cynical doubt. He replaced it with informed confidence, grounded in experience. As understanding deepens, trust naturally arises. But this trust is flexible and responsive, not rigid. It is confidence born from seeing, not belief imposed from outside. This approach also protects against spiritual manipulation. When people are trained to accept teachings without question, they become vulnerable to abuse of power. The Buddha's insistence on personal verification undermines this dynamic. Teachers are not infallible authorities. They are guides, pointing towards something the student must discover for themselves. This creates a relationship based on respect rather than dependence. The rejection of blind faith also shapes how Buddhism views the Buddha himself. He is not an object of belief, but an example of what is possible. He did not claim exclusive access to truth or salvation. He claimed that awakening was accessible to anyone willing to understand and practice. Reverence for the Buddha is not meant to replace effort or inquiry. It is meant to inspire them. In modern times, this aspect of Buddhism feels especially relevant. Many people are disillusioned with rigid belief systems and authority-based spirituality. At the same time, there is a temptation to turn Buddhism into another set of comforting ideas or self-help slogans. This, too, can become a form of blind faith. The Buddha's teaching challenges even this. It asks not what sounds good or feels comforting, but what actually works when tested against experience. Ultimately, Buddhism rejects blind faith because suffering is not solved by belief. It is solved by understanding. Understanding requires attention, honesty, and effort. It requires looking directly at one's own mind rather than hiding behind ideas. This is more demanding than belief, but it is also more freeing. The Buddha did not ask people to accept his words as truth. He asked them to see for themselves. In doing so, he offered not a system to believe in, but a path to walk, grounded in awareness, inquiry, and direct experience. Thanks for watching. Our channel is new and needs your support. In our channel you can find many videos on the history and philosophical teachings of Buddhism. Please subscribe to our channel to support the teachings of Buddha on YouTube. You can download our app from Google Play. Get notifications, daily quotes from Buddha, guided meditation methods, articles about Buddhist wisdom and sutras from Pali Canon. Discover inner peace, cultivate mindfulness, and unlock the infinite wisdom of the Buddha with this app. Download link below.